Taking One for the Team, written by Sarah Holbrook, presented by Emily Miller. The reason why I selected this poem and why it stood out to me is because I can relate to what Holbrook is talking about. I am an athlete and have been through tough losses. I feel like I could relate to this poem in various ways. I think her poem represents what it's like to be an ideal team. In this presentation, I will give you a brief introduction about the author and why she became a poet. Then I will read the poem, summarize it, have an interpretation, a tone, imagery, and the theme of Taking One for the Team. Sarah Holbrook is a full-time educator, poet, and consultant who brings practical knowledge to the classroom. She helps students develop the complex thinking and literacy skills needed to survive in the workplace. She has over 30 years' experience as a writer. She never wanted to be a poet, but she fell in love with writing after she had 2 children. She said she mostly writes on 2 things, which are what I know and what I wonder about. She claims that poetry helps her understand life, the world, and the people she cares about. She claims writing helps her see what is true and what is not true. Now I will read you the poem Taking One for the Team by Sarah Holbrook. We practiced together, sweat and stained. We pummeled each other and laughed off pain. Teams may disagree, may tease, may blame. Teams may bicker and whine, but get down for the game. You had my back, we fought the fight, and though our score was less last night, we're walking tall. Our team came through and stuck together like crazy glue. I'm proud to say I lost with you. The poem was talking about a team coming together and working past their blood, sweat, and tears. For clarification purposes, the narrator of this poem is an athlete who competes with their teammates. In the second stanza, the word you means the narrator's teammate, and the word we means the team combined. This poem is about the teammates competing a hard-fought battle. They gave their best effort only to become spectators of an opponent's victory celebration when it states, I'm proud to say I lost with you. It shows how much class and pride the teammates have for one another and that they are part of this team. As an athlete, it is difficult to be humble for the other team that has just beat you. Another way to look at this poem is by the classiness of the athletes. They understand how hard they've worked to get to that game, but they realize how much harder the other team worked in order to beat them. The poem states, we're walking tall. This quote shows that they played their best, and so they cannot be ashamed of losing. But on the other hand, they know how much harder they need to work in order for that to be much more successful next time. The narrator shows that he loves and cares about his team and wants the best for it. The team could have easily been upset and angry they lost. Instead, they are happy they could have the opportunity together. The team could have been pointing fingers and saying it was someone's fault, but they didn't. The tone of this poem is both happy and sad. It states, and though our score was less last night, we're walking tall. Our team came through and stuck together like crazy glue. This quote sets the tone for the poem. It was the last game, match, or whatever competition it may be. They played their hearts out. They all worked together, but they just fell short of where they needed to be in order to win. Holbrook portrays a few distinct examples of images throughout her poem. The first image she displays is when she states, we practiced together, sweat and stained. She shows that the team is working hard during the practice, hence the sweat on their bodies. The reader can also think that the word stained could either be from the blood, grass, or dirt. She portrays another image in the poem by saying this. Our team came through and stuck together like crazy glue. The reader can visualize a team loving one another and telling each other that they played well. Also, the reader understands how great of friendships they have made. The team has been through so much together, and their friendships cannot be broken. They will always have each other's back and won't ever leave anyone behind. When times get rough, they know they can depend on and rely on one another. They have experienced a lot of things with each other, one of which is losing. In closing, Sarah Holbrook's poem, Taking One for the Team, is about a team coming together and realizing not everything is about winning, but more about the relationships and lifelong friendships. Athletes enjoy winning, so they realize how much harder they need to work in order to bring themselves to the next level and beat the team next time. This poem shows true classiness on and off the field by athletes. Holbrook wrote this poem in one of her two categories she typically writes in. Being an athlete makes one realize how hard you have to work in order to be successful at something. Life will not be handed to you without working for it. Also, attitudes will make a person much more successful. If one can learn how to get along and work with one another whom they might not like, they will get much more accomplished. And here are my references I used in this presentation, and thanks for listening.